Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by SoundCloud Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Moses Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Coming soon, Missing 2, Delva Spence, Double of Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 quiz of pains and King David Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and on Linktree at the Mike Wagner Show. 50 podcast platforms, 110 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, plus Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube. And follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and TikTok today. We're here with a terrific gentleman who's an author and decorated retired U.S. Air Force colonel, spanning 4 decades of military, civilian, federal service with a distinguished background in military aviation and strategic planning. He flew the legendary F-4 Phantom and the F-15 Strike Eagle and more. We'll talk more about that. Grew up in Southern Illinois and Western Tennessee with a passion for aviation, and his new book is a thought-provoking sci-fi novel, which is set basically in dystopian future America of 2104. It's called Apollo Wept. Live, ladies and gentlemen, at Plus Studios in beautiful we'll say he's in the panhandle of beautiful Florida. The amazing author, decorated retired U.S. Air Force colonel. Book is called Apollo Wept, the multi-ton Christopher Coyote Choate. Chris, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Mike. It's truly a pleasure to be here, sir, and thank you very much. And if I just before we get started, you found your calling. That is one of the best audio voices I've heard. So you found your calling.
You know something? I think you got a calling yourself. It's like I think one day we ought to switch roles one day and be and you can be me and I can be you. I think that'd be a great doppelganger one day. What do you think?
You let me know when. It sounds great.
I think that'd be great too. So you're an author, you're a decorated retired U.S. Air Force colonel spanning 4 decades of military, civilian, federal service with distinguished background in military aviation, strategic planning. You flew a legendary F-4 Phantom, the F-15 Strike Eagle. You grew up in Southern Illinois, Western Tennessee with a passion for aviation. You have a new book out, which is a thought-provoking sci-fi novel set in dystopian future America of 2104. And what's that can be like? Basically challenging readers to consider the consequences of unchecked social stagnations and more, and enlightenment government agencies as well. The book is called Apollo Wept. And before getting all that, Chris, tell us how you first got started.
I started in the book or career.
Just way back in your career, way back or earlier than that, way back,
Okay.
time machine, way back.
I'll start with the career. My dad was a gunner on a B-36 Peacemaker, which he loved to tell everyone it was the world's first intercontinental nuclear bomber. And yeah, he
I
loved
think
that
we
one.
want everyone to own one right now if they're in trouble. Have a little nuclear bomb gunner.
Yeah, it was a well, it's you have to be in aviation to really know about it because it only served for about 10 years because it was just over the jet engines overtook it. It was but anyway, he was very proud of that, and he got me into aviation early in life, and I never strayed for that for reasons I don't know. So that led me to basically I was going to be a military pilot. I lost my commissioning physical. I lost my eyesight. So
Ooh.
I became a navigator and weapons systems officer, and can't don't regret it at all. And basically stayed with it and loved every minute of it. But not every minute of it. There are bad sides to it. But overall, very very happy with it. And that's how I got into the Air Force. I love to fly. I wanted to serve my country, and that got me there. Transitioning to the author, this is. It starts with Christmas newsletters. When the first PC came out, I typed up my first Christmas newsletter in the early '90s.
Mhm.
I know what is it? You inform, persuade, or entertain. I believe is the three things that you.
That was the main ones there: inform, persuade, entertain. I think that was part of speech, and I think that was also somewhat Warner Brothers, more like enlighten, entertain, encourage, and you may as well throw an educate there. So you can't learn from Warner Brothers, right? Yeah. So
Right, right. I tried to do that with the letters, but I knew nobody wanted to read a boring letter. So I got to the point where my family and friends were getting them, particularly in getting pressure from the family that there's they really loved them, great. Which of course no good deed goes unpunished. So you have to keep it up, and you have to keep trying to make them better. Long story short, there or short story long, however you want to look at it. There's a great friend from Murfreesboro. His parents convinced me. They told me I had to write when I got out of the Air Force, and I told them I would. And they're gone, unfortunately, now. But they were the encouragement to get me to write. And then when COVID hit, that was I kind of had a lot of time on my hands, and that's how I got started.
Okay, who are some of your favorite authors, writers, and your favorite books growing up?
My favorite books.
Yes.
Okay, boy. Well, got to hit the Bible. You always have to hit that one right up front. World's most famous book. Got to hit that one. I don't read it enough, but that is obviously number one. Um, the The Right Stuff was probably one of the few books I've read more than once, and he obviously hits the astronauts, but before that, he does get into the military aviation, and Tom Wolfe is just a beautiful writer. You can just man, his words just flow across the book. Growing up was probably Raise the Titanic. That one I really enjoyed. That was another one I remember, and then obviously get over the professional, the classics. Obviously, have you read Atlas Shrugged?
I remember ready to pick up a book, but I somehow just left it off. I should get back into a book, and I appreciate you reminding me I should get back into it. Atlas Shrugged.
It is. It's now. I have to say she's a little wordy. She could have cut out a lot of pages, but uh, having dealt with the government, some of the things going on at the time when I read it, because I found about it late in life. But that one, I ain't gonna call this. Apollo Web is not a sequel. Let me say that quite up front. It is not a sequel to Atlas Shrugged. I will not claim I have that audacity to say that, but I kind of modeled the book on it. So
Mm,
that was obviously very influential in the writing.
right. And how about some of your favorite authors growing up?
Famous authors growing up. Ooh. Favorite authors. Tom Wolfe, obviously. Have to throw him in there. Mark Twain, from an educational standpoint, I can't grow up what we did and kind of not appreciate Mark Twain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Arthur C. Clarke, 2001, his books. That's probably the big ones I would think growing up.
Okay, and plus you have your big one as well too. We're looking to talk about with Apollo Wept with Christopher Coyote Choate. So try saying that a few times to get more about that. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at SoundCloudStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. SoundCloud Studios is the answer. SoundCloud Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today 1-800 303 3960. That's 1-800 303 3960 or email to support@soundclubstudios.com. Mention Mike Wagner Show get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor, Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Malton Zia has gotten great reviews. An Evil Evidence George by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Malton Zia, available on Amazon. Coming soon, Missing 2, Double Expense, Double the Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 Squids of Pains and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives a new perspective of David through the Psalms you wrote, and it's the time of shipwreck started, and complicate your turbulent relationship with King Saul. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out the Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon. Keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com and on Linktree at the Mike Wagner Show. 50 podcast platforms, 110 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, plus Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and more. Take us with you on any mobile device. Follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson for great books, merchandise, and more. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with amazing author, decorated, retired U.S. Air Force Colonel, spanning 4 decades of service, Christopher Coyote Choate with Apollo Wept here on the Mike Wagner Show. Before we get to more of the book, how'd you first come up with the name Coyote, or how'd that come about?
Paula wept. It initially was Zeus wept, and like I say, it was kind of a play off of Atlas Shrugged. Atlas Shrugged, and Zeus wept. Well, as I was writing the book, I'm a big I'm a Trekkie from the original series, and I bring in a artificial intelligence entity from basically he's our age, but this is 2104. It's the protagonist's great grandfather,
Hmm.
and this artificial entity is from the late 20th century. And he introduces the protagonist to Star Trek because it's a band who's never seen it before. If you're a Trekkie, you'll probably figure out how I came out with Apollo versus Zeus. That's gave him Apollo from an episode, one of the first episodes he saw of Star Trek, and he has a little discussion and about Apollo weeping. That's how it came about.
Hmm. And plus, you're given the name Coyote as well. How'd that come up?
Coyote,
Well,
uh,
I'm different region. I apologize. I'm used to saying coyote where I'm at, but I should be
Coyote,
saying
yeah.
coyote. To be honest with you, so please forgive me if I say it in a different dialect or some
Oh,
region
sure.
here.
No apologies not required. I butcher the Queen's English all the time, so no apologies. No,
Well, we're in the
no
same boat
apologies.
then. So,
Okay, yeah, that's why I'm not in your line of work. I cannot say people's names to save my life. So, anyway, yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, I say there's the open version, the non-open version. Some people claim it has to do with howling. I deny that. I will not confirm or deny there's any howling involved. But a lot of people confuse my name with it. I think that's probably where it came from. People would try to say, look at Choate and say Coyote. So I think that had a lot to do with it. But,
right, yeah, and I think you're doing a great job. And plus, you're spending 40 years in the military as well, too. Military aviation and strategic planning. You flew legendary F-4 Phantom and the F-15 Strike Eagle, and like to hear about your adventures on those.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. Like I say, I wanted to. I lost my eyesight, so I become a pilot, and that had been my goal from start one. And that might be something for your audience. I can't tell you how many times I said before, when I still had 2015 vision, I would never be a navigator. Just nope, that ain't happening. Well, when you lose your eyesight and you're about ready to graduate and you're married and uh, you obviously start reevaluating life differently, and I know a lot of people had their very similar circumstances. So I decided I met the goal. I would get a fighter. I would be in the back seat, but I'd still get to fly a Mach 2 aircraft. That was my goal. I got very fortunate and got it. The Phantom, which was built in St. Louis, by the way, every jet I flew was built in St. Louis for the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
The two fighters. The Phantom was just remarkable. Just it's a testament to American ingenuity and know-how. I mean, because it's 1950s, the jet engine's only been around for like 10 years, and this aircraft could go about 2.4 times the speed of sound. And it was an amazing aircraft. Now, it couldn't turn worth a hoot, but boy, it would fly, which was what it was designed for. And then when they moved to the Eagle, particularly the Strike Eagle, they kind of took everything wrong with the F4. McDonnell Douglas kind of figured out, well, and they fixed it. And where the F4 was kind of a triumph of thrust over aerodynamics, the F-15 was very maneuverable and it had bigger engines. So, and it was just it has about 104 to 0 air-to-air kill. It's never one has never been lost in air-to-air combat. We've been shot down by air, ground threats, but it's 104 between us and the Israelis and the Saudis for air-to-air combat, and it's just again just a testament to American Judy know-how, and it was a lot of fun to do. It's for a young guy though. I don't need to be doing it now. It's definitely for the younger
Makes me
guys
want
and
to get
gals.
out. Makes me want to get out there and fly one as well too. And you could talk about the planes. Maybe think of Top Gun from Tom Cruise. The what was it the F-15 Tomcat or something like that? It was a
The
Tomcat
F-14 Tomcat, the F-14.
F-14. That was it. The Tomcat.
Yeah, Tomcat. Yeah, which was kind of the Navy version of the F-15, if you will, kind of.
Okay, and plus, also getting back, you spending some time as well too, and maybe a bit about some of the missions that you've been involved in, and maybe the ones that you were the most memorable as well.
Most memorable. I flew over Iraq, but I did the no-fly zones, and that was well, that was just it was pretty much we owned the skies. So that was, I mean, to be quite honest with you, I've been scared a number of times in a plane, but it was never over Iraq. They were shooting at us, but they weren't going to hit us. They just didn't have the stuff there to hit us. Have you heard of red flag?
Red
That's what. I'm sorry.
red flag. I'm trying to think. Red flag is. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Is that a novel? Is that a thing? Or I'm trying to think.
It's
Red flag.
training exercise in Nevada. Been around after Vietnam. The Air Force learned in Vietnam. If you survived your first 10 missions in Vietnam, odds are you're going to survive the rest of them. And what the intent of Red Flag was to give you those 10 combat missions. And back in the 80s, it was really intense because I mean, the Cold War was still alive and well, and if that's the right word or not, the Cold War was still on, and we trained very hard, and it was very demanding, and that was some of the most demanding flying was at Red Flag. The Flying the Eagle in Alaska has a night terrain following radar, so you're flying through the basically around the Alaskan range at 500 feet at night in the weather, in and out of the weather. Very sporty because there's no lights; it's very dark. And they got to go like one of the things like the Paris Air Show. It's just get to represent America at the Paris Air Show with your jet behind you and everything. That was a highlight of my career. Same thing in Malaysia, an air show in Malaysia. You hear the Ugly American. I don't know if you read that one, the Ugly American.
The Ugly American or Deadly American?
It's Ugly American. I apologize. I don't remember the author. I read it back in high school.
Uh,
It's
I have not heard of it, but since you brought it up, may as well talk about it. I think we're going to learn from this, Chris.
Okay. Well, the Ugly American, again, I believe it was written in probably in the 70s or 60s. And my apologies, I didn't mean to bring this up, or I would have known the author. But he talks about the ugly American, which is a common term. We go overseas and we can be ugly American. And I had that in my mind. And like I say, representing Malaysia, it's fine. People love Americans. They don't love us when we're, like say, the ugly American. But
Mhm.
I mean, it's amazing how many people would stood in line just to talk to see American air crew and American jets. And I've seen that in Turkey and Malaysia. I mean, it was an honor to represent America. And I said I can't tell. I mean, I felt like a rock star in Malaysia. I don't know how many times I had a picture taken. You just grab the kid, and I got some of my photo albums here. You put the kid on your lap, you smile, and you try to just make our country look as good as our wonderful country is. Just try to represent best as you can.
Oh, that's amazing. I know you had that presence in Malaysia because you talked about Ugly American. Back in the day, it was like, damn Yankees and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So,
yeah. You hear that? It's quite funny. In Paris, I expected that in Paris, but I never saw it. I mean, they just. I've never had a bad experience representing America, and maybe I'm lucky. I don't know, but I say in Paris, the Paris Air Show, they like I say, it was amazing. And did not have any trouble at all with it. And particularly in South Korea, South Korea, and even stationed in England. And the special bond, there is a special bond between us and the English people, particularly Air Force. So the Royal Air Force, still, particularly with the older generation, they have so much respect and clout in that country from the Battle of Britain. So they do love the Air Force over there, and the American Air Force. I mean, it's a very special relationship with the British people, and that was a wonderful assignment.
and it had to be very special as well. And how do you feel about the current state of military today?
Um, yeah. Let me start with the first one. I remember I was trained by the Vietnam vet era, and I'll never forget all those guys were when the Air Force was going to Hades, sideways. It was these new kids, blah blah blah. So I've always learned I want to be very careful. Generations change, they're different. And having stayed as a civilian after I retired, I worked with a lot of young Air Force officers and in the test world, and they are different. They just grow up different. So, but they're wonderful kids, super sharp. I was a lot smarter than we were, I believe. But yeah. I can't live without their phone, but anyway, the military, the Air Force, or the U.S. military is just a wonderful organization. I mean, take World War II. You had the professional military in Japan, a very professional military in Germany, and here are these Boy Scouts, basically, grew up in the Boy Scouts and what have you, and we just overwhelmed them. And the military has that culture where it's great for training. It's great for, I mean, it's a meritocracy. I don't care who you are or what you are. You will do well, uh, and it's the best of America. And we got some. Well, it's always got every issue. Every bureaucracy has some issues, and obviously we focus on the wrong thing sometimes. But overall, I think the health is good. Now, China's obviously, I would say, if you want to get to there, China's a concern just because of the size of China and what have you, and things like that. And uh, but overall, I think the state of the military is pretty good.
And it sounds like it as well too. And of course, in the book, get into like every genre, every gender, and everything like that. Read a little bit in this. I guess in this book, you have what is 101 official what gender, genres, 68
Yeah,
sexual
genders.
orientations, and
100.
government sass. It's like what a number! It's I can't even comprehend.
Yeah. Now that came about from um, well, I'll start out. I now for the country, and I don't mean this by who's in charge of Congress or who's currently in the White House. I don't mean that, but I think the country's been on the wrong track for a number of years. I'll say decades. I think that it's slowly moving in the wrong direction. Martin Luther King, beautiful. Content of your character more important than the color of your skin. His dream for his children, and I think we were really headed in that way, and then somewhere we just went off the rails, and 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 that's where I kind of got from the book. I'll start with Christopher Columbus. We've for at least about 30 years, I think, every October we try to dig that poor guy up and hang what's left of him, and
Oh my God, isn't that terrible these days? We celebrated, discovering America, the genesis of discovering freedom, and here we are hanging a poor guy by his toenails.
I know
Unbelievable.
we are, and I like to when I do joke with politics, I try not too much, but I like to call it the liberation from Child Sacrifice Day in Americas, because they were still sacrificing humans, particularly children, the Aztecs and a few others. Well, we forget that part. We do remember the diseases that were brought over, which we don't blame the Chinese for the COVID. We don't blame the Asians for the Black Plague that hit Europe, and I mean, it was regrettable, it's horrible, but it is biology. It was nothing you could do about it. But so anyway, yeah, so we got that with Columbus. Now, what, maybe 10 years or so, we started getting rid of statues mainly to Confederate generals, Jefferson Davis. Now, okay, all right, you could argue whether they should have been there first or not. There's two sides of that. But my point on that, though, is, and I've made this, and I think it pretty much came about, is when you start burning books, it's really hard to stop. And in October, this was my catalyst for the book, was in October of 2020, a mob in Portland, Oregon, tore down a statue of President Lincoln, who is undoubtedly our greatest president. And if you're going to tear down a statue to him, I was thinking, okay, well, if you keep on this slope, where are we going to be? And then you had the identity politics coming in, all this, and writing on that, and that's how it came out in this world of in early 22nd century. uh, who you are is totally irrelevant. It's what you are, and that what is your identified gender, your sexual orientation, and your color of skin. And every American is broken into that category, and that is what drives it. The Constitution has been ruled basically a document written by bigots and slave owners, so therefore it is unconstitutional. Now, that's an Orwellian term for you, that your Constitution is unconstitutional. But and it's replaced with a new charter for America, Charter of New America, which is basically run by EOs, which is kind of what Congress is headed to, because the Congress, doesn't seem to want to do their job anymore. That R or the D seems to be more important than being a congressman or woman.
or
Um,
or 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 a servant too, which is getting to be
sure.
like put on the back burner. It's like a long time ago. You think about George Washington; he was in essence being a king, a servant to his people, and now it seems like servants been tossed out the window. It's like they want to make whoever or an R and D or an I or whatever it is, like a 6 7 figure salary to sit back for 8 hours and that's it. You don't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
serve people.
yeah. It's you get rich in Washington D.C. I think 6 of the 10 richest counties in the country are around D.C. And that's just it's ridiculous that you do that. And I mean, that's kind of say where I've got in the book, where it's just the country has gone off overboard on that. And um, I'm trying to figure out how to keep my thought on that one, but um, that's the dystopian world that basically Washington is running everything by executive order. And again, it's a universal equity is the ultimate goal. Individual liberties are totally suppressed. And the story goes about while we're burning records, which is obviously a big part of this, is writing off your history, which we're seem to be very or doing or trying to do. They discover the Voyager probe, which was launched from NASA in the 70s. And on the probe, there is a plaque made by Carl Sagan, and that plaque has a nude man, male, and female on it. It's for if in case it's ever discovered by some intelligent life form, whatever, thousands, a million years from now, because
Or
they're heading off.
billions and billions and billions. That's what he's known for. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah, yeah. But that plaque is on there. Well, and we discover that, and it's got only two genders. And the nation in the world of Apollo Web is horrified that our legacy is going to be this bigoted probe with only two genders, not recognizing all 101. And it doesn't even mention sexual orientation. So this is a crime of denial. And we're also having to be broke. So America has a Chinese build us a spaceship, and this spaceship's going to be the first ship to leave the solar system to intercept Voyager and replace that plaque with one that is more acceptable, one that has all 101 genders and 68 sexual orientations. And that is
I
the
can
theater of the absurd.
Yeah, I cannot keep up with that number. In fact, I had a guest on the show that explained there was about like 80 different sexual orientations. And I went, how do you keep that up? And it's like, you think we're more united, but we're actually more divided than ever. You think about it.
And that seems to be dividing us. And I don't, I it's a free country. You can kind of, long as you can do what you want. But I mean, when you start identifying that, you start dividing America, the balkanization of it. There's nothing good comes from this, and you become oppressed and oppressor, which is Marxism 101. That's right out of Marx's book. You identify oppressors and oppressors, and that's what is in the book as well, where you start doing that, where you categorize and you're somewhere on this hierarchy, whether you are oppressed or oppressor, and everyone's jockeying and fighting for it, and that's just not good for the country.
And of course, maybe think of an episode of Doctor Who where it's like, catalog this, catalog that. If you're not within their specimen, they pretty much toss you out. I think
Yeah.
that's what's heading toward these days with the current situation, not just here, but I'm getting reports that it's happening almost everywhere as well, too. I mean, China's genocide is just, getting rid of mainly the girls. You only allowed one child per couple. You have two or more, out you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I have that in my book. The ship saved by some engineers that have Chinese DNA, and they are descendants of some of the girls that Americans adopted from China. And they're looking at it because basically, kind of poetic justice. I really hope one of those. Matter of fact, my niece is one. My wife's sister and her husband adopted a wonderful girl from
Nice.
China. She got a 36 on her ACT, and she's now a engineer, electrical engineer. And thank you, China. Just that's some talent we can use. Hope
Hey,
and they may have started to figure that out.
hey, send some girls over. We can use them. It's like, help run Apple or
Yeah.
IBM, just about everything in the world as well, too. And we'll get to more with Christopher Coyote Choate on the Mike Wagner Show with Apollo Web. You're listening to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Moses Missing. That's Sweet Psalm Spice Raina Wagner, based on the life of Dave, including theories, quiz of pains, and candy but Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalm Serena Wagner. We'll be back with the amazing author of Apollo Web, Christopher Coyote Choate, after this time out. We're back with the amazing Christopher Coyote Choate here on the Mike Wagner Show with Apollo Wept. And of course, just to give a recap as well, it's a space opera that has challenges contemporary political trends through the lens of future gone wrong. And maybe perhaps if you have a book with you, maybe just read an excerpt from the book.
Um, Boy, I think I do here. Let me get my glasses out here. The book is still in the final editing. It should be out here in about a month or two. There's actually an overture to it, which is kind of like a lead-in to the book. That should be out here hopefully within a month or so. And that'll be on Amazon and a few others. And I'm trying to get it where it'll be at minimal cost because it's just kind of a short introduction to some of the key folks in the book. But I believe I do here. Let me see if I can find it. And I apologize. I may not have it with me. Sorry. I can grab it. If you have another question, I can find it online here.
Absolutely, yes. And of course, maybe some of the contemporary political trends going on, and how about what's going on right now, especially with I hate to throw us out there, might start a fire, might start banning Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk. That did you follow him before his assassination, or
What's that?
did you follow him at all before his assassination?
It's really interesting was that what keep looking through the
Oh,
book as
okay.
well too when you're pick an extra as well to read on the Mike Wagner show. My podcast made the top 50 of 2020, and mine was number 40 according to the New York
Wow.
Weekly Times. And
Congratulations. Wow.
thank you. And Charlie Kirk was at number 50, and here I am was like, hey, I beat Charlie Kirk. I'm more popular than Charlie Kirk, Adam Carolla, and some of the others. And then after the assassination, I said I can't joke about it anymore after what
Yeah.
happened. Just
Yeah,
can't.
yeah. It's just I knew of him, but I didn't really follow him. But just I've since then obviously been seeing a lot of podcasts, everything, and it just tragic and sad and just you know um, and it's one that's here kind of a thing. I put a picture up on my Facebook page and on my other social medias of Martin Luther King, and I had the message that a bullet can kill the man, but you can't kill the message. And
True.
some
That's
people
a good
offended me.
point. Hmm.
And but I had some people offended that I was slapping the face. Charlie Chris Kirk was A B C D, and from everything I seen, he wasn't. And I told him, Governor Newsom of California, definitely not a conservative spokesman there or a fan of the conservative cause. He praised him. Well, I don't think he'd be praising everything they're saying. A lot of people are saying about he. I even heard he wasn't a Christian. I was thinking, but yeah, be careful of that one. But he's racist, sex. He say, he's getting praise from people that knew him that didn't agree with him politically, and that's great. That's what the country should be. You should be able to, Ronald Reagan, Tip O'Neill, they went at it left and right. But there's pictures of them inviting him over to, they're having dinner in the White House, and they got along fine.
Hmm.
That's the way the country's supposed to be.
And,
But
and and of course a great one as well too. Ronald Reagan and Tony Blair being buddies, and the
yeah,
best of all, Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev bringing down the ending the Cold
yeah,
War, bringing down the wall, and here we are seeing an influx of Russian comedians, Russian singers, Russian jeans,
yeah.
Russian cars, everything. Like hey, come over, bring our stuff, and here we are having a little retail war of who's got the best jeans, who's got the best cars, the best of everything, even best comedians. There's our own little war, but it was fun, making the money come in. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's a whole tragedy there. At the end of the Cold War there, and Russia was just, oh man, and then just they ended up with what they've got. Just a tragedy. But
mhm. and
yeah,
and of course, many of this also parallels in the book as well too, with Apollo Wept.
yeah. That is the China obviously is a basically an antagonist of the book. They're out working against the captain. He's got this social justice officer who if you think like the old Soviet Union political officer and a Taliban religious police, he's got that working against him. He's not supposed to be there. The captain, or he's not even captain, can't call him captain. He's the overseer. He's straight, white, male and they have everybody's out against him. The only people in his court is Texas has succeeded at this point, and his former squadron commander is the president of Texas. So he has a Republic of Texas working for him, and there goes some in a court of law that's brought in. And I say, and then of course the big one is this artificial intelligence entity based off his great grandfather, who is um, it's fun writing. I kind of wrote him after my dad. Very smart, very intelligent, with a low tolerance for stupidity. And in this world of 22nd century, there's a lot of stupidity, and he's constantly bringing 20th century common sense, which again is even missing today. He keeps bringing that into the book, so that was fun to write.
Mhm. It sounded like it. Do you think that 20th century was considered very offensive in the book as well? We spring into so-called 2104.
Yeah, it is. He says things that just they just he um, he's obviously he's digital, so he shows up once dressed up like Elvis, and he starts singing the famous song, the American trilogy, Elvis saying, I wish I was in a land of cotton. And the captain, his executive officer is a black. You don't know his sexual. He's undecided black, as everybody's coded. Anyway, he starts screaming. Here's the word cotton. The captain goes just what are you singing? What are you doing? Who and he's looking at me. He says, you're trying to tell me Elvis Presley, the greatest entertainer who learned to sing in the black churches of Mississippi and Memphis, you're trying to tell me he's racist. And he goes, well, you're singing about cotton and that kind of stuff, if you will. That's one of the examples in the book. Uh,
Ah, I see
yeah.
that. Like they start nitpicking every single thing and start classify, catalog, whatever it is. It's
Yeah.
like they start nitpick. It's like, here's your own group, own group. Next thing you know,
Yeah.
it's like, let's say, what was it like? You're like him, her, she, cat, like whatever it is. It's like you try to get people in that category. It's like you end up being by yourself. You can't. It's loneliness.
Yeah, I've the everybody is Z, Zer, Zim, which my wife just hates. Try to read the book.
You know what? I am with you right there. Somebody asked me about this. Him, he, and this like that. I dress as
Yeah,
for everybody,
yeah.
Mister, Sir, your Highness, Majesty, or Lordship. They say yes, my that should be like that. You say Mister, Sir, Your Honor, or Lordship, Majesty. That's how it should be done.
Yeah, 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 agree.
I'll
I
probably get
agree.
some cancellations now. But we're not encouraging cancel culture here.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. And that was as I was writing the book. I think the word field. Don't use the word field. That's offensive, racist, whatever. No, it's a field. It's just it's the theater of the absurd. And I say, and it's kind of funny. I would write something, and a month or two later, I go, oh, well, they beat me to that one. I thought I came up with something really. Hey, nobody's thought of this one yet. Well, a couple months later, they have, and just it's kind of hard to say in front of it. So,
Oh my gosh! And of course, maybe just one more thing that people come from learn the book as well, Chris.
um, it's got a Christian message. It is not a Christian book, and please let me be very clear to your audience on that. It is not a Christian book. I did not write it for the choir. Uh, but it does have a Christian message brought into it. I was very, very, very proud to brought that in. And I'm with Defiance Press, which is a small conservative hybrid publishing in Texas. And I sent it to four or five of the big guys and never got a letter back from them. But I was really kind of concerned that if I did get with one of the main ones, they may want that out of the book. Because it's a very embedded message. It's not a big part of the book, but it's a very important part of the book, and it deals with a thief on the cross and how Penn cuts a point. Something about to happen, and there's a group of illegal Christians on board that the Chinese let the social justice officer know about, and so that's in there. He has that part. And at the very end, there's even a Christian science fiction part, for lack of a better word, that I bring into. It's not. It's. I think it's interesting. I like it. Of course, I wrote it, but it is a second part of it is again it goes forward and a supernatural event happens. So that's more Christian fiction for sure, and I guess you could call it science fiction. I don't know if that's the right term, but.
Mm-hmm. And I think that sounds you got a really good message right there. And where can we find Apollo Web to know it works at, Chris?
Yeah, let me see if I can get this on my camera here. I've got, see if you can read that. I don't know. But basically, if you there's the author webpage. It'll be listed there for sure. It's going to be come out on, I think Defiance has like 50 publishing they use. So Amazon being the big one. And from there, like I say, there'd be about 50 of them. But on my website here, if you can read that, and I'm on Facebook, X, Twitter, LinkedIn. Trying to get on Instagram. I'm still working on
And,
that one.
and what name can they find you on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn would be should be Christopher Show. Christopher
Christopher
Show on
Show. Okay,
LinkedIn.
we want everybody to make sure of that. And the website once again.
The website is coyoteauthor.wordpress.com. I don't know if that's readable or not there. I can't apologize if it's not, but
Okay. Yeah, we can see that. Coyoteauthor.wordpress.com. We want everybody to check that out with the amazing Christopher Coyote showed here on the Mike Wagner show with Apollo Web. Chris, just a couple more things. What else can we expect in 2025 and going into 2026 and beyond?
well, I planned to just write one book. This was it. It was going to be that one done. My editor has convinced me that's a bad idea for a number of reasons. So I started thinking about, and I'm working a alternative history to the Tuskegee Airmen.
Okay.
And that's what the next one. It's going to be Red Tails of Dixie, and I'm currently writing that one. So I'm not sure on the time frame, I got to do a little more research on this one because I'm a little, but it's an alternative history. And so it'll be a history of the Tuskegee Airmen. I think it'll tell a great story, and that's hopefully will be coming down the road.
We'll certainly check that out as well and looking forward to it, Chris. Who do you consider biggest influence in the career?
Biggest influence in my career, my dad. My dad was he was my hero from day one. His dad he was a loser at the capital L. He left my dad's mom when he was young. Didn't have much of a life. But my dad raised me and my sister and my mom. I keep forgetting to put my mom in this, but her as well. They raised us and gave us opportunities that they did not have growing up. And again, my dad had no role model, and I wish I was half the dad to my sons that he was to me. Because I mean, him. It didn't matter if I was on the bench, never left the side of the field, whatever it was, he was there. And he had me out hunting and fishing and just did all the things that dad in Southern Illinois and Western Tennessee did. And he's definitely my hero.
Definitely as well, too. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Best advice, dream and believe. That's kind of my model since I've started this. If you dream big, I had a teacher in Murfreesboro, a chorus teacher. She taught me that, I think. I give her credit for that. And believe and go out and do it. Go out and do it. It's not going to be handed to you. Dreams don't happen by sitting there and dreaming about them. Dreams happen because you go out and you make it happen.
I think that's great advice as well during this time. Amazing author of Apollo Web, Christopher Coyote Choate here on the Mike Wagner Show. Chris, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing. Learned a lot. Looking forward to soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Laugh have you back. And what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your book?
Again, the best going to my Coyote author webpage, which you can find Apollo Wept. If you just put that through a search engine, it'll come up to it. But Defiance Press, it'll be listed there. It'll be on Amazon. And I said my webpage, the address we just gave, will have all the links to buy it there. And Mike, I want to
Okay.
say thank you very much, Mike. This has been a
And,
wonderful experience, and
and thank you as well. And looking forward to having soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Laugh have you back. We wish you all best. And Chris, you definitely have a great future ahead.
yeah, thanks, sir. Thanks so much. I've enjoyed. It's been an honor. Thank you.